3rd District Representative Julian Fraser stood up to defend himself against claims made by Communications and Works Minister Mark Vanterpool regarding the land that the water plant in Seacows Bay is located. The matter came up during the 4th sitting of the House of Assembly on Thursday, March 19th. Minister Vanterpool uncovered an arrangement where Fraser, in his capacity as Deputy Premier and Communications and Works Minister, gave approval for GE Aqua to rent land from his brother Earl Fraser in September 2002 to locate a water desalination plant. But 5 years later, the lease agreement showed that the land earmarked for the water plant in Seacows Bay was owned by government.
From a Deputy Chief Minister and Minister of Communication and Works, Madam Speaker, Honorable Julian Fraser, to his brother, Mr. Earl Fraser, written by him, signed by him. Madam Speaker, I want you to know that these kind of letters are normally written, directed by the Minister and written by the Permanent Secretary. To Mr. Earl Fraser, P.O. Box 288, Seacows Bay. I have on August 30th signed a letter of agreement with Hydro Management Sources of New York for the Seacows Bay water plant. This is 2002. To be temporarily located on your property. I'm going to put the plant on your property. I'm going to talk about the property in a little while, Madam Speaker. As explained in my letter of June 7th, our offer to you would be based on the cost to produce water. You hear that? I'm offering you something based on the cost to produce water. So the water price don't go up because of... We ain't renting the land, you know. We ain't renting the space, you know. We're paying you something on top of the cost of water. We're going to increase the cost of water to the public and to the government and then pay you part of it. Which we were hoping to be around $16.50. The cost of water per 1,000 gallons, imperial gallons. We are now in possession of HMR Inc. proposal, which we have agreed to, and the proposal copy is attached. Government's contract that is being agreed within government is being attached to a private citizen. I don't understand that. The lawyers will tell me that AG. Given the importance of this operation, its short duration, and the revenues being realized by the main contractor at $15.80 per 1,000 gallons, we consider an offer to you of $1 per 1,000 gallons. Mr. Earl Fraser is going to get $1 per 1,000 gallons to sit the plant on his land. His land, you know. That's what they say here. The Permanent Secretary at the time was a little concerned, Madam Speaker. And she wrote a little note to say that in the process of preparing an executive council memorandum to submit to the council at the time, called the cabinet now, for approval of the heads of term to lease for the lease to the caption applicant. Now, Madam Speaker, this letter, the Permanent Secretary is now preparing a lease for this land, which was being paid for, was supposed to be paid for in 2002. The property of the person that the deal was being made with, and only now in 2007 we realize that it's not his property. It was the government property all along.
Fraser served as Minister for Natural Resources and Labor before he was appointed Minister of Communications and Works in May 2002. He stood up during Minister Vanterpool's presentation and made this statement.
Madam Speaker, I was sitting waiting because the minister, when he left, he was just about to talk about the AG's opinion on the matter. And he got up just now and talked about whether it was legal or not. But I don't know if he's finished. It seems to me as if he's moving on to something else. Madam Speaker, I would say this, that at the time when that offer was made, several agreements were signed for water. Handsome Bay extension, the extension of the water contract in Handsome Bay was signed. Capone's Bay, a new water plant was signed for Jos Van Dyke, and also this plant in Seacows Bay. So They all came at the same time, signed by the same minister, and the government has honored all of them. And I could say, Madam Speaker, in 2002, when I went to the ministry, when I went to the Ministry of Communications and Works, while I was at Natural Resources and Labor in 2001, the Minister for Communications and Works went to look for a place to put a water plant in the western area, looking at Parkwood Pond, came back and stopped in Seacouls Bay and said that's where they want to put a plant. I was in Natural Resources and Labor, and that's what was recommended. When I got to Communications and Works, nothing was there. It hadn't started. And given the situation, that's when I got involved in this water plant business. But the minister has the opinion of the Attorney General regarding that letter and all the rest of it.
Meanwhile, Minister Vanterpool commented on the $42 million Bywater agreement, which he repeatedly describes as an albatross around the neck of water consumers. He said water production in BVI should be locally owned.
As minister responsible for the subject of water, I want to suggest to the government that whether it's this government or another government, that we want to start looking at how we can develop the Water and Sewage Department to be just like how Electricity Corporation is in charge of producing electricity, that the Water and Sewage Department becomes responsible for producing water and take control of water plants to be able to produce water throughout the territory in an effort to bring the price of water down to what it is now, where profits in the millions are paid to companies like Bywater, and where the fleet of money from the territory, which could be reinvested in the territory, goes out to companies from overseas. And that is what, Madam Speaker, I hope we can correct.
Minister Vanterpool was speaking during the debate on the motion for the House of Assembly to approve $26.9 million in additional expenses for the year 2012, monies that were not appropriated in the 2012 Appropriation Act. According to the order paper, of the $26.9 million supplemental funds, $20.7 million is for recurrent expenditure and $6.1 million is for development expenditure.